It's Wednesday, September 3rd. I'm Adam Walsh, and this is The Signal. Today on the show, we are talking about celebrating community contributions, hearing from people who have been celebrated as barrier breakers and difference makers all through YWCA St. John's and the Circle of Distinction Awards. All right, everyone's bopping around here in the studio to the. I mean, when you have electric flute, hey Maria, right? Electric
flute. It's essential to CBC radio. I think
so. Electric flute is a not used enough, is what I say. Happy birthday, anniversary. Not you specifically. I mean, it's not your birthday, is it?
It is not.
Okay,
no.
But it is 100, and it's not 100 years for you either. But it's 100 years for something. Tell us what it is.
Okay, it's going to be that kind of show. All right, no, it's not my birthday, and I am not 100. But the YWCA St. John's
there we go.
Is celebrating 100 years in community. And
that's wild.
It is wild.
Like, I've wondered before how old, like, because often, when there's organizations like, they've been around for a while. How long? But 100 years, that is not nothing.
It's significant. And it really marks a movement of a certain kind of feminism, a certain kind of movement building across the country with the YWCA. It marks sort of the evolution of YWCA St. John's in terms of building and rebuilding in 2013. And it really marks, the way that women and gender diverse folks make a difference in community.
I said Circle of Distinction Awards. Mm-hmm. Fill that out a little bit more for me, if you could.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So again, YWCA St. John's is part of a 29-member movement across the country, and most YWs have a celebration just like this. In 2023, the YWCA St. John's had a pause on the awards because of COVID, because of leadership changes. And when I started, we decided to make a shift. We changed the name to the Circle of Distinction Awards to really reflect our values in gender equity and gender diversity, and to make sure that we could celebrate the whole community making a difference in gender equity. And so really being specific that women and gender diverse folks really have a place here at the YWCA St. John's and a place to be celebrated and put in the spotlight.
For this year's awards.
Yes.
You're selling tickets and stuff?
We are selling tickets. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. And I really hope through this conversation, people are inspired to attend the awards. And we were just chatting before we got live on air. When I'm there at the awards, I'm meeting people, we're setting up, we're talking to a crowd. And I often miss the sentiment that is what I hear is in the room is a real sense of celebration, a sense of inspiration, a sense of awe at the amazing people in the room. And, some of whom are just here today. So it's really exciting. And so because of that, I think it's important to highlight that this event, it takes place on the 23rd of September at the Signal Hill campus. And tickets are on sale. There's a special rate for tables. And the contributions go to making the event possible and to supporting the YWCA St. John's. So there's a donation receipt, and it's going to be amazing. Another amazing year. We have local performing artists Bernie Stapleton and Amelia Manuel who will be hosts. And we're doing something special. You mentioned 100 years, so maybe I'll talk about that later because that's another draw about having a special reflection on what 100 years of community work looks like.
All right, so as we get to the back end of the show, and I'm going to ask everyone here in the studio with us, remind me to ask Maria to say the 100-year thing. You said you had the thing to say about the stuff.
I can tell you now.
I mean, tease it out, sure.
You want me to let you know?
Fine.
Or save it?
See, I'm torn. I'll let you choose.
Okay. Well, I'll just, no need for suspense here, folks.
That's how you keep an audience, though, right? You make a promise to deliver later in the show. That's Radio 101. But I promise you, folks, you stick around on this one, you're going to meet some great people. And that's the delivery about community inspiration. Give us the thing. Come on. Here we
Okay.
go.
Well, I'm really excited that Aline Nizagama, the CEO of YWCA Canada, and Lisa Smith, Indigenous activist and lawyer, will be in conversation about what reconciliation looks like. And so I will speak more to that at the end to keep us teased and interested in the conversation. But tickets are on sale, and I really invite folks to come to be part of the celebrating the 23 nominees who are highlighted this year, as well as celebrating the YWCA. The support means so much, and we'll hear why. I think I'm so excited to hear from folks in studio today.
Yeah, and for today's show, what we did was, well, me and you talked, and we said we'll talk about this year, but then to do that, let's have some of the folks, the recipients from last year. And it's, I think, a great way of showing the types of amazing people in our communities who are doing great work that uplifts others. And we'll go around the table and we'll get everyone. I promised I would go a certain way, so I'll go with that. Tanya, how you doing? Give us an introduction of yourself.
Well, I'm doing well. Thanks for having us here.
And welcome back to the show, by the way.
Yeah, thank you so much. So similarly to the last time I was here, talking kind of about the same stuff, I guess, especially with me. Yeah, my name is Tanya Heath. I am a photographer operating a project called Project Powerback. And I assume that that's why, well, that was a big part of why I was nominated for an award. I wish I could read that nomination.
Yeah, right, because
you should have my nominator on, not me talking about myself, because I'm bad at it and she's really good at it. But yeah, Project Powerback exists just to hopefully create an inclusive or safer space, an accessible space for folks to feel seen and heard exactly as they are, as themselves, usually working with or focusing on celebrating folks with marginalized identities and bodies. So that's kind of one portion of it. The other portion of it is I try and show up to kind of the community movements in the city, local social justice events like marches or protests or rallies that happen here, to document them, because I think it's really important to have that historical documentation of that for so many reasons. So that's kind of where this photography project has made its way organically over time, and this feels really good in this space that I am now with this project. Yeah. Again, not great at talking about myself.
You're doing a great job. And how long has this been now? Like for the project?
So I've had a camera for a while. I'd say maybe 9 years or so. But the shift happened maybe just even 3 or 4 years ago, where I've kind of really reflected and kind of put a little bit more intention behind what I was doing based on what I valued and felt kind of passionate about in the world. And the people around me, and what I saw was a gap in the industry, I'll call it. So that kind of propelled me to kind of find my little niche. And this is where it ended up, yeah.
So then do you remember the catalyst around that? Because it's one, you get this tool and camera, it can be such a powerful tool.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, you got to figure out how to use it. I still can't use a camera properly. I'm lucky I can take a selfie on my phone. So you get this, you're learning it, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I'm figuring out where I need to go with this.
Yeah, I think that question is a really good tie back to why we're here in our conversation today. And it all kind of comes down to community. Yeah. So it was about, how old am I? 36? About 6 years ago, I came out. So I was living a very interesting straight life for a long time. And then all of a sudden I figured out that I was queer. And with that, it was easier, I think. I don't know if easier is the right word, but I started to involve myself in the queer community here in St. John's. And with that community, I found other communities. And with being involved in community, I don't know, I feel like there was a shift, not only with my photography project, but with me as a person in general. I just evolved and I grew and I learned stuff, and I'm constantly inspired by the people around me in community. And I think, honestly, those couple things there that I mentioned was the catalyst in that shift in my photography. I don't know, I feel like I was a little bit directionless for a while, and then kind of figuring out more things about myself and what I cared about. A lot of that is attributed to the community that I'm a part of, or the communities that I'm a part of. And that kind of led to me just doing more of an inner reflection and a deeper dive into questions, and just that learning piece, and just caring about things other than myself. So I think that was where the shift came from, for sure.
Yeah, and then it obviously comes across and makes an impact on people because you got nominated and you're a recipient for social justice and advocacy.
I mean, I guess so. Like, it's tough, right? I feel like I have complicated feelings about it too, because I see
that's normal.
So many people doing really good things in community, and how do we highlight everybody? You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people are doing really silent work on the side and not looking for recognition and just doing the thing because they care about it. And I feel like I just wish I could give all of those people recognition. But those people will, it's not even about the recognition. I know that. But I think the important thing about these awards and the space that it opens up is being with community and in being inspired by others. And
Cool.
Lots of feelings, lots of thoughts and feelings still processing.
And like I said, so in the warm-up for the show before the theme music started, I said a lot of the show is also going to be me going, Maria, thoughts? Maria, thoughts?
Sure. Thank you so much, Tanya. Like the articulation of one's passions and impacting community, it's not easy to make that statement.
Nope.
Nor is it easy to make an impact on community. And I think when I think about the importance of the awards, I think, Tanya, you articulated it so well in the sense that, so often it is hard to speak up. And it's so hard to draw attention to oneself. I think from a gendered aspect, there's history there. And partly because so many people do the work because it is not about me. It's not about anyone in particular. We make changes. We make change and progress when we work together. And so I think that's why the awards are so impactful, and why the room and the space at the awards is just full of incredible energy and incredible people.
Mm-hmm. Next up, Gaayathri, welcome back to the show. We've met over the phone, so it's nice to have you here in person. How you doing?
Hi, I'm great, thank you. It is really nice to be here in person. Again, it's nice to meet over the phone, but in person is always great.
Give us the best introduction of yourself, if you can.
Okay, sure. Let me do that. I'm Gaayathri Sukantha Murugan, or Gaia. I'm an international student at MUN, about to start my third degree at MUN. I first moved here to Newfoundland about 7 years ago to do my undergrad at MUN Grenfell campus out in Corner Brook. And that's where I think I really started getting more involved with community and activism and social justice things, because I was doing visual arts, and then I got involved with the student movement, and subsequently just into the broader social justice and activism movement, which I think is the reason that I was nominated for all the work that I've done, especially as someone who is not originally from here and who has created and found community here in Newfoundland in the last several years that I've been here. I'm very grateful.
Trailblazer Youth Award.
Yes.
When you found out you're nominated, you talked about arriving, finding community, this education road you're on, and as you're on this road, you find out, I've got this nomination. What did you think about?
I was very honored and grateful to be nominated, especially at, Trailblazer category is a pretty young age category, so it was really nice. It was really great, and similar to what Tanya was saying earlier, there's a lot of folks in the community that are doing such great work that also should be highlighted and recognized and acknowledged, but these folks are not necessarily doing the work looking for recognition. And I think I was similarly in that boat, that I wasn't doing this looking for recognition, but doing this because this is what felt right for the community, for my community. And being from like multiple marginalized communities, I'm queer, I'm an international student, I am a woman. I think that these awards are a really good way to combat the historical underrepresentation of women and gender diverse folks doing this kind of work, especially when they are people of color and women and gender diverse folks of color.
All right. Thank you for that. I've got more questions, but because folks, for the show today, we've got people in studio, and we're going to take a couple. We've got a couple others we are calling. But first, I want to go to Professor Cheema as well, who's sitting here. How you doing? Thank you for walking over. You look at the CBC from your office window, so it's nice to have you in the building. How are you doing?
Thank you. This is my first time coming to CBC.
First timer. Well, I'm glad we corrected that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Give us an introduction of yourself.
Well, thank you for having me here. I look at the CBC studio from my window every day, and it's nice to be here in person. My name is Sukhinder Chima. I have been in Canada almost 38 years. I came from India, and I moved to Newfoundland almost 27 years ago. I'm a professor in a Department of Biochemistry here at Memorial University. And have been very passionate about research from very early on, since my childhood. How are things happening? Why are things happening? What do we do? So it was always fascinating for me. When I came to Canada, the dream was I'm going to be a scientist, maybe someday become a professor at a Canadian university. But when you come with all these dreams, you don't know if you're going to accomplish any of those dreams. So what do you do as an immigrant, a woman? We know that women in science, even today, there is so much discussion about having, like, how can we encourage more women to come to science? So it was a lot of hard work for me as an immigrant woman, as a woman of color. And then I became a single parent. So being a single parent and all these other challenges that are thrown at you, you just ask yourself, what am I doing here? Why am I here? But I came with a dream, and I guess I can say I'm a fighter.
Yeah.
And it was a dream I came with, and I had to do whatever to accomplish that dream. So I worked very hard, and I think as Tanya said, Gaia said, we just kind of stay out of the limelight. I'm just doing my job. This was my dream. I'm just going to work hard. And you don't care about anything else. It was my passion to do research, so I'm just doing my work. That's it. So when my students reached out to me and said, we want to nominate me, I honestly, till today, I don't even know what award did they nominate me for. I was going like, why do you want to nominate me? So I get a lot of international students in my lab to do their master's or PhD. And I guess everyone comes to this country with a dream. And they don't know when they come to this country with that dream whether they can accomplish that dream or not. So what my students told me that seeing me becoming successful in this country gives them hope. So when they see me, what I have been able to accomplish, working hard, being a single parent, they just look at me and say, well, if she could do it, we can do it too. So I think it's very important to have that kind of role model in your life to give you that kind of mentorship, to guide you through the process.
Yeah.
And I guess I was an inspiration for my students, and they decided to nominate me for the award. I kept saying, why me? Why no? I mean, there is no need to do this. Well, they were pretty insistent, and They nominated me, and honestly, Maria, when I was sitting there, my student was going, "That's your name. They're calling your name." I did not even want to go to the award ceremony.
It was a very special moment when you came to the mic. I don't know if you both remember, but your response, again, really highlighted why it's so important to have these awards. Your humility and your own surprise. I think when I think about the story that you've just shared now, the narrative around immigration really speaks to that story of hope and hard work, which is absolutely true. And again, why you're so deserving. And the story of immigration does not speak to the structural harms and the systems that make it so difficult, like racism and immigration barriers, like lack of health care, discrimination in the workplace. And these are things that the YWCA St. John's in our work around newcomer supports and immigration supports and supports for LGBTQI folks, we're looking at these intersections. And so for a brief moment when we're in a fancy room with a bunch of people who have, graciously bought tickets to support our organization and to support the people in the room, for you to go, why me? And everyone was just really rooting for you and, making sure that you had a moment to feel the sense of accomplishment. And I really hope that you had one moment of that.
Oh, I did. I mean, it was very emotional. I'm sure everyone could see that in the room, that I was just so taken back. It's like, oh my God, I did not expect that. I did not anticipate that at all. So I think for YWCA to have this Circle of Distinction Awards, it meant a lot to me. And I think giving these awards, recognizing women for their efforts, for their hard work, no matter what comes their way, it is very important. And I honestly felt, why aren't other workplaces or institutes, why don't they have awards like this to recognize women? So again, Tanya, you said there are so many women out there who do such great work. They need recognition. So again, why me? There are so many other women out there who need this recognition. So I think more workplaces, more institutes, more organizations need to have these kind of awards to empower women, to create an inspiration for our younger generation. And as you said, international students, we have lots of them at Memorial. So Memorial thrives on international students. For them, it is very important to see that, yes, when we come to this country, we can become successful. So they have to see.
There's a road, right? There's a path for people when they come. Like there's a path they can take as an international student, because there's folks like yourself who have been leaders, are leaders, and it's like, okay, I can be like Professor Chima. Here we go. Right? The path is there.
I think that is very important in our society.
You're listening to The Signal. We're talking about 100 years of YWCA. We're talking about the Circle of Distinction Awards. Chatting with folks who were recipients last year, chatting about this year, what it all means, community building, leadership, uplifting others. It's there's a lot to dig into today, a lot of great conversations to go into, and we're also phoning a couple folks who are previous recipients of it. So we've got Dr. Archana Vidyasankar on the line right now. Dr. Vidyasankar, how are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for having me, and thanks for Maria YWCA for organizing this really, really important discussion. So, yes, thank you.
You were the recipient of the Inspired Innovation Award last year. Tell folks a bit about yourself. I know Maria can jump in as well on some of this, but just give us just the bit on you and the work you've been doing, especially as it relates to the Prakash pathways.
Yeah, well, thank you. And again, acknowledging how tricky the in-person virtual component is. So thanks for having me on the phone and calling in. Really grateful to be a part of this really important conversation. What I do, it depends who you ask. If you ask my kiddos, my wife, my students, but fundamentally what I do is not work, and I think those in the room would agree. When you do something you're so passionate and in love with, it just comes freely. So what I guess consumes my 9 to 5 is that I'm a perinatal or reproductive women's health psychiatrist in Newfoundland and Labrador. I work in the community, so I'm able to see folks from no matter where the location in the very diverse geography that we have in Newfoundland, Labrador, which has been wonderful. So I focus on pregnancy, postpartum, times of change for women, menopause, things like that involve mental health support, and have been trying to build something in the community which is a little bit different, a little bit new, to really bring hope to those that have been missed through the healthcare system, through the gaps that we have, the silos that we've created over time. So one of the reasons I went into what I do is, we have some of the highest rates of mood disorders during pregnancy and postpartum, which is such a critical time when you think about what a family goes through, the changes, the relationships, the parenting. And our provincial rates are about 28% of women who are identified as women that experience this, and probably even higher rates when you really get into it, where the national average is 23%. So that was a real eye-opener when those numbers came out, and really steered me in the direction of women's health and mental health here. And I wanted to do something different. I wanted to create a hub, a clinic where people can feel safe, where people can come with no judgment. Oftentimes women are excluded from research. Pregnant women, especially in postpartum, we often say it's such a great time of their lives. So I wanted to do something different and not a traditional, I think, medical care route when it comes to, working in a hospital and doing great work there. So I started a clinic in the community, brought in some amazing people who are so important to mental health. We have family physicians, we have therapists, we have physical health, we have peer supporters now. So we've been growing this really wonderful community to help the community and support families out there so that they can feel well cared for through this important time. And do something a little bit different. When we have a kind of a similar but different story from Dr. Chima. I think my parents were the ones that came to Canada with that dream and with that hope. So I know it very close to heart. And as a first generation, you kind of have this understanding of what that gravity means to give back to community, to do well and make an impact, given this incredible opportunity that your parents have gone through, that they've come all this way. And that's what I really wanted to do and serve, and trying to make a difference every day.
Go ahead, Professor Cheema.
I was going to say I met Archana for the first time. I know her from the community, but I met her for the first time at the YWCA Circle of Distinction Awards. And I didn't share about my research, but when Archana told me what she was working on, and I said, oh my God, my research is on what mothers eat during pregnancy and how it impacts the health of their children. So Archana talked about mental health issues. So I can tell you, Archana, from nutrition perspective, that's what I work on in terms of if there are certain nutrients lacking during pregnancy, how it will impact fetal growth and development, especially their brain. So that is one of the research angles that I look at in my lab. So how it can actually cause long-term mental health issues. And that is, I do a lot of community outreach programs here in Newfoundland. And that is something that I'm trying to promote, that eating healthy throughout your life but especially during pregnancy for women in their childbearing age, how critical it is to focus on healthy eating and certain nutrients that are absolutely critical during pregnancy for brain development, why it is so important to consume those. So Archana and I had a really nice conversation. We just didn't catch up after these YWCA awards, but it was fascinating to learn from Archana what she's working on, and I shared my experience with her at the awards.
Amazing. And Dr. Vidyasankar, I'm just looking at the CBC story that we did around your work. It was February of last year. How are things going?
Oh my gosh!
With everything.
Yeah, that was over a year ago, and I mean the YWCA Circle of Distinction Awards have happened. Things are going really great. The connections, the family you create when you're a part of these organizations. I mean, the program is growing so beautifully, and we're able to really connect with the community, create these connections and relationships, right? And I think that's what sets it a bit apart. It's not a classic hospital type of clinic where you would go for care. It's in the community where it belongs. When you go through these really difficult times, or can be difficult times, things have just gotten better and better. And so grateful for places like YWCA, working with them, with also the Perinatal Mental Health Alliance that I'm a part of, to grow the importance of perinatal mental health and care for the family in the province. The government's on board, which has been really great lately. So we're about to come out with some recommendations for an infrastructure on how to manage well-being for your mental health. It's not, just about kind of the blood pressure and the diabetes checks. It's about how they're feeling, how an individual is growing and doing and managing. So we're hoping to come out with some recommendations soon on where to go in the province, so that it's a natural part of the conversation and families can thrive here, because we know the stressors, we know the social determinants of health are so difficult, the nutrition, the access to food, as Dr. Cheema has spoken to the importance, but also housing, also how is daycare going and the cost towards that early childhood. So, trying to create a space and place where all of that is considered. So things are going pretty well, Adam. I must say I'm pretty pleased with the interest and passion in the province and having the opportunity to be able to talk about it. Very grateful, very grateful.
Dr. Archana Vidyasankar, thank you so much for this. And congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
All right, before we go back to the folks here in studio, so if you have thoughts, just hold them for a second, because we've got Jennifer Brown on the line with the St. John's International Women's Film Festival. How you doing, Executive Director of the Film Fest? You're busy, aren't you? Because it's just around the corner.
It is. Thanks for having me. Really happy to join in here via the phone, because we certainly are in our peak festival season. Yeah, our big 36th annual festival is this October from the 21st to the 25th, but our first countdown is our big press conference. So that's on September 22nd. We announce everything, tickets go live, all of that good stuff. So this is one of our peak, busiest times. We just locked our film programming last night, and our forum industry program is right on the cusp of being locked. But then we're also on the ground. So I'm headed to the Toronto International Film Festival this week to also further promote our festival and put together some of those last final pieces from our industry programming. And then I'm to Atlantic International Film Festival in Halifax a couple days after that to sit on a festival panel there. So we're really busy and excited, and putting the final touches on some pretty exciting new programs, and what's going to be no doubt an amazing festival lineup this year.
So I've got it in my calendar for the show. So you're going to get an email from me before too long for future discussions like we do every year, which I'm excited about. You were the recipient of the Equity at Work Award. What did that mean to you?
It meant so much. It's kind of hard to put into words. Our festival, so the St. John's International Women's Film Festival, has been around since the late 80s. So we were really championing this work. We're Canada's longest running women's film festival and one of the longest running in the world. And we were doing this work decades before it was kind of on the agenda of a lot of other people really worldwide and on the level that we're doing it now. And it's really great to see such strong community leaders like the YWCA know that, acknowledge it, and really create this platform to not only elevate other voices, but to connect one another and really to further that conversation and the importance of it. And I think, so many of us are doing work that is classic not-for-profits. I mean, the arts and culture sector is another level of fighting through, of really adding importance of wanting to know, here's what we're doing and here's why it's significant and here's how it's transforming communities and lives. And here's, we know representation matters, opportunities matter, and how can we really be those leaders and how can we live our values? And that's something we take very much so to heart here at the festival. I know everyone, the YWCA feel the same and they operate that. And there's such incredible models of that, but the true power of solidarity and celebration and how that is such a tool of, that's how we transform, and that's an act of resistance as well, when we're really looking at how to serve communities and how to support underserved communities. The ability and the opportunity that this program offers really is nice of, we're doing a lot of this work in some silos. It's really hard. We all have those struggles of how, from funding to opportunities to staffing and all of that, but the chance to be able to be seen and acknowledged and who else we can open up and further, like me being in our festival, being acknowledged by this program also helped us better shine a light on the incredible work that the arts sector is doing and other festivals and other organizations who are really comparable to us. And it also helped us get our foot in the door to some other conversations and partnerships. I think that more of this, the better. And the YWCA is certainly serving a really unique need here in our community. It's a really beautiful, wonderful celebration and something that has very sincerely, like I said, opened new doors and created more opportunities to us. And I think also adds a level of validity to the work that we're doing as well. I mean, like we all know that, but just to have that moment to feel like, right, you see us and you get it and you're here for us. That's huge. And it's kind of hard to put that into words, the impact that opportunity and that recognition serves.
Well, I mean, I think that was really well said, obviously, Jennifer. And I'm gonna, Maria's here smiling as Maria should be smiling, because I mean, these are some great things that are being said about the organization, about the work, and about folks being seen and heard and recognized and uplifted. I know you've got a thing, so thank you for coming on the show because you're so busy, and I promise I'll get you out in time. I have kept the promise, but I'll be in touch. And thank you, and good luck with everything now with the film festival.
Yeah, thank you very much. And again, my sincere thanks on behalf of me as a person and working here in this community and of the festival to YWCA and all of its supporters. I'm really looking forward to this year's awards, and I really hope it has a lot of longevity and that all the incredible organizers know how deeply respected, admired, and appreciated it is. So thank you, and thank you as well for having me here.
All right, thanks again. Thanks as always. Jennifer Brown, folks, St. John's International Women's Film Festival, last year's recipient of the Equity at Work Award. Maria, lots of great things are being said about the YWCA and the 100 years of work, plus the last couple of years with the change to the Circle of Distinction Awards. What do you think when you hear these things being said?
Well, I'm just incredibly privileged and grateful to be in this room with folks. So thank you for taking time, and to Jen and Archana as well. You know, incredible ways of illustrating how folks are making huge impacts in this province. And Archana mentioned a huge systems change that she's done on perinatal mental health. And, the St. John's International Women's Film Festival. Art is work, and representation matters, as Tanya mentioned, and highlighting how, women and gender diverse filmmakers need space and place to shine as well. And so I don't know if you want to speak to that. I think there's such incredible cross conversations in this room, too, about how different people from different positions in terms of their work in community towards gender equity and social justice can build these conversations. And again, to the point about being in that room with each other. And so folks are thanking me and the folks are thanking the YW, but I think really it's about just creating space to celebrate. And, you know, when I think about what I've heard so far today in this discussion, like just more than ever, do we need to celebrate? I just think about the unprecedented summer the province has had, the way that community has really pitched in to respond to the devastating fires. We think politically, the crisis of affordability. There's so much on the shoulders of folks, everyday folks, that it is sometimes hard for me to hear, you know, Maria, what do you think? This is great. Because there's so much work to be done.
Yeah.
So I just think I really appreciate just how this has impacted folks to, you know, lend enthusiasm to keep doing it because it is so important to celebrate the incredible work being done.
And like you said too, right? We're in a season of elections. There's 2 elections coming. There's a municipal, provincial election, cost of living crisis. There's a whole lot going on across the country, internationally, south of the border, you name it. And it's just time today for folks from from mental health, sciences, community, activism, and you hear these overlaps of the importance of being recognized and uplifted.
And Adam, this is just the tip of the iceberg. These are just a few people who were on the incredible list of nominees last year.
Oh yeah, this is just it's not even half the list, right? There was might be half. Anyways, there's so many folks, and if you factor in the nominees, it's so many.
Exactly. So I mean, this year we've already started to highlight the incredible nominees for 2025. Wowza! As folks have mentioned, you know, it's incredible to see the people come to the mic and be recognized. And then also you think, oh, there's so many people who are deserving of being at the mic. And we see that year after year, just incredible folks. So what I love about this time of year is that we are rolling out day by day everyone's incredible short bio, just a small kind of nugget of their work and personality, along with an incredible digital portrait.
They're really nice. I've been following on LinkedIn.
Yeah. And so that gets just a little teaser for everyone to see who's next and how are they portrayed through the eyes of Nikita Morris, who is also a past YWCA launch employment participant, and they have consented to us sharing that information as well, who's now doing work in graphic arts. So it's a lot of full circle moments, a lot to celebrate as we also look at 100 years.
So then what do these things, these types of awards and recognition, but how do they impact your thoughts on the work that still needs to be done in community and where things need to head? Gaia, any thoughts on that?
I have many thoughts. I will share some of them, sure. I think that the importance of these, especially as an immigrant, and especially hearing the different kinds of immigrant stories just in this conversation that we've had so far, in this time of a lot of anti-immigrant sentiment, a lot of homophobia and transphobia, I think it's more important than ever for folks doing this kind of work in this kind of environment to be highlighted, to be celebrated, because a large part of the world is dedicated to oppressing us and keeping us down. And having spaces like these, moments like these, events like the YWCA Circle of Distinction is incredibly important to try and fight some of that hatred that we are seeing.
And for you, we started the show talking about your education and your the degrees, plural, that you have. What has this journey for you from when you first decided to move here and go on that education route, and now it's a Master's of Gender Studies, is it?
Yes, I'm about to start it.
Where are you going with that? And what do you like? And you don't need to know, but where do you what are you looking into, and what are you curious about, and for studying?
That is an excellent question. I don't know that I necessarily know the answer, but I do have some thoughts. So as you mentioned, I did come here about 7 years ago as an international student. I was at the young age of 18, knew nobody here, really cold, and only child moving across half the world. It was very interesting. So especially in that kind of situation, having worked so hard to get where I am now with the help of community. So I did a visual arts undergrad. I did a Master of Political Science that I just completed, and now I'm about to start a Master of Gender Studies. And to echo what I had previously said, like especially right now in the time that this world is in, it's especially important for folks to be doing this sort of work, this sort of solidarity, social justice work, because we need to be fighting for each other.
Professor Cheema, when you hear, I'll say younger folks carve their own path like this, and there's leadership in what Gaia is saying there, right? Student leadership, youth leadership that spills across age and genders and backgrounds and everything. As someone who's been living through a leadership path herself, what do you think about that?
I think what Gaia is going through, I can relate to that, Gaia. And you're doing an incredible job.
Thank you.
And I wish you the very best. I just hope that whatever your dreams are, that you accomplish those dreams and just keep going at it.
Thank you.
Nothing should be stopping you.
Well, apart from immigration things.
And that would come through as well. So just continue keeping your dreams alive and continue working hard.
Thank you, Professor Cheema.
Yeah, and I think again, back to YWCA, Circle of Distinction Awards. It's great that YWCA is doing that. And as I said before, it is very important to have these kind of organizations because historically, I must say, the field of science is still male-dominated.
Yeah.
Right? So to recognize women in science, women from diverse backgrounds, it is very important for someone to recognize those efforts. So YWCA, please continue having these Circle of Distinction Awards. And young generation, continue working hard. Someday it will pay off.
And we will continue to do that. And I also think our job is to reflect the communities that we are supporting. And so I hear the hope and I hear the encouragement. And I also hear from Gaia the challenge of this, of our time and the challenge for young people.
Frustrations, obstacles, reality of where
Exactly.
things are, and the mood of the moment, which can go in a bunch of different ways.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tanya, how you doing?
Hello. Yeah, as everybody was speaking and we're kind of cluing up, I was like furiously scribbling down some last minute notes. Yeah, so if I could read what I just scribbled, that would be lovely.
Of course.
So, no, I mean like if I could physically read it with my, because it's pretty messy. First of all, you were mentioning the Nikita Morris's portraits. That is actually one of the most exciting things about the Circle of Distinction. I don't know, just seeing the portraits that are coming out, they're so incredible, and it was a highlight for me. Like seeing my portrait, I'm like, okay, that's cool, and just seeing like our friends and community members' portraits go up there too. It's so cool. It's such like a little bonus,
and you get to keep them. Everyone gets them.
I know.
Yeah.
That was unexpected, and it's very cool to take home. And I think another point that was made was Jen was making it on the phone, and I think we've all touched on it a little bit. It's just exciting to see our friends and community members, people we know, people we don't know anything about their work, but we're sharing this space with them. It's just inspiring, and it really propels you to keep going and moving forward and doing the thing that you're doing, because everybody wants to feel valued and heard, right? And I think that the YWCA and these awards does create such a good space for that with this type of thing. So that's really exciting, and it's so exciting to see like the reveal of the nominations go up on social media, and just have an excuse to celebrate people a little bit more, because as Gaia said very eloquently too, like the world is on fire right now, so we need all the joy that we could get. Sorry, I feel like I'm being a little emotional, but like we're living in some dark times.
Yeah.
You know, like we're seeing genocide live streamed on our phones, and we know that joy is resistance, and we need joy, and we need moments to celebrate each other and the work that we're doing. And within those spaces, also recognize our privilege of being able to exist safely in those spaces and celebrate each other, while so many people in the world are unable to do that opportunity is taken away from them. So I think that's a balance with me, just the complications of accepting the award, especially mine. I think just like, it's hard not to feel at the end of the day, like, okay, I'm just out here, like clicking on my little camera, like taking pictures of the things, even though it's really important to me and obviously important to other people. But there are people in Gaza trying to do the same thing, and they're being murdered, so what a privilege it is to be able to do what I love to do and what I'm passionate about safely in my city.
Without the fear that there's a missile or a
absolutely.
sniper or something.
Yeah.
And when folks, if you're not up on it, you can Google the loss of journalists with what is happening.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So thank you for saying that. But all that to say is these spaces are so important for that, just to get together with our community, to celebrate one another, to uplift one another and empower one another, to keep fighting the good fight, and to keep showing up and doing what we all love and what we're passionate about, because we're all aware of the realities of the world. And just to have that joy, it keeps us going a little bit. Yeah.
Thank you, Tanya. That was beautifully said.
We have, 3 minutes left as we wind down. This is where I go with the final thoughts. But Tanya already, you mentioned those are your final thoughts. You have, if there are any other final thoughts, you can feel free. Anyone else on final thoughts as we wind down, either on, where you're going, or your look ahead, or your overall thoughts on the experience. It's a choose your own adventure. I need to stop talking, or we're going to run out of time. So go ahead, someone.
I just wanted to share one last thing. I'm in the field of nutrition and health, and living in Newfoundland, you go grocery shopping, look at the prices of food. It's tough. And I work with Indigenous communities in Newfoundland. And when I visit the communities, food security is such a huge problem. Yeah. So I think when we talk about community, sense of belonging, we also have to keep that in mind, that there are communities out there who are struggling in terms of food security. And I only recently started working with these communities, and working with them, the welcome that we get from them, the respect, working together collaboratively, it gives that sense of belonging, and in the community, the sense of respect and respectfully working together. I just hope that everyone would take that approach to work collaboratively, to work together, to work respectfully. Our community will be such a better place.
Well, that's nice. Go for it.
Just to echo what Tanya said, it is truly, certainly a privilege for us to be able to be in the space, in the Circle of Distinction award space, for us to be able to be safely celebrating each other and our communities when other people in other parts of the world are being murdered for doing the same work that we are doing here. I think that we should all definitely keep that in mind while we go about our social justice work or any other everyday acts of resistance. It is very important to keep in mind that we do have the privilege of mostly carrying out this work in safety while others do not, and we should be fighting for them.
Thank you so much for that. 10 seconds, tell people about the last tickets and the thing for the Circle Distinction Awards, just to remind them.
It's really important. This holds a special place where you can celebrate and reflect. So get your tickets at YWCA St. John's.com. www.ywcastjohns.com. The tickets are there, and we look forward to celebrating together.
Thank you for this conversation, everyone. That's it for the show today. Tomorrow we talk motorcycles and addictions recovery. You will meet folks with Ride for Recovery NL. Thanks for listening.